thanks everyone for joining us today. My name is Dr. Robin Yap, as always. And today we have Skyler Ayers with us, who won Best Speaker at our JMUCC, that's John Molson undergrad case competition recently. That was just a couple of days ago. And that competition is like the largest and the world's best undergrad case competition, wherein we put Skyler and her team through massive amounts of no sleep for a whole week. And somehow she survived and got an award for it. So yay, how exciting. So welcome. Welcome,
so
Skyler.
much.
All right. So let's start with just, introductions. Tell us a little bit about your journey to JMUCC.
Yeah, so I am in my last year at the University of Vermont, and I'm studying economics and French as a double major, and I have a minor in business administration. I originally started as a business major, and I had a concentration in marketing and global business. But when I went to go study abroad, I studied abroad in France. Nothing really transferred exactly how I wanted it to. So it dropped down to a minor, but that really helped me kind of get on my path to case competitions and figure out what I wanted to get involved in business that wasn't necessarily like business classes.
Now, how do you prepare for any of these? Before that, actually, how did you even get to know that these things exist?
Yeah, so my second year of university, one of my professors approached me and was like, "Hi, I know that you have a nice long month of winter break. How would you like to take 2 weeks of that to do an online case competition?" And me being a naive second year, I said, "Sure, why not?" And so it was during the COVID pandemic. And so we're all online, and I got my first kind of taste of solving real business problems with a team. At that point, it's just me and one other person as a teammate, but it was really interesting. But I also hated the entire experience.
Oh, why?
Online case competitions are all the work and none of the fun.
Yeah.
And so I did 2 online and said, I'm never doing them again. And then this past fall, the same professor, I was a teaching assistant for her, and she came up to me and she said, "How would you like to go to Waterloo, Ontario for a week?" And I said, "Better than being in school for a week." She goes, "Great. I'm signing you up. We leave in 3 weeks."
Oh my God, really?
And so ever since then, her and I have been kind of teammates in finding people to do case competitions with, and being able to like solve all these different problems is really, really fun. I've enjoyed it, but it wasn't something I ever thought I would get into in university.
Well, you did a great job. And I was one of the judges, by the way, for people who may not know. So
Drilled us hard.
I asked the weirdest questions. So the other thing that I was kind of wondering is, how do you then juggle the life of a delegate in competition on top of school, right? On top of life and career and all of that stuff. How do you do that?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't do it very well. My roommates will tell you I'm very stressed every time case competition season kind of rolls around. But I think it comes down, for me, this past case competition going to JMUCC was probably the least stressed I've been about case competitions, because I'd kind of gotten to this habit and the routine of what I do and how case competitions operate. So for me, it was a lot of, every Friday we practiced a case for 3 weeks. And then we kind of just were like, all right, everything else is on you. If you want to do extra research, if you want to practice, if you want to do any of that. And then trying to just fit that in with my school schedule. But honestly, I'm very bad at the juggling of it. I always like to say yes to things. I hate to say no. So I often take on too much, but somehow at the end of the day, it all gets done. So
how are your grades? Are you able to keep your grades up? And I'm being personal now.
I would say generally I keep my grades up. I've always thrived. I used to be a student athlete at the university and even in high school. So I've always thrived having more on my plate rather than less. So I think it's, if anything, forced me to have better time management because I'm like, oh, I have so much to do in this short amount of time. Like, I don't have time to go on my phone for 15 minutes or, just lay around in bed an extra 30. I have to actually get up and do all the things. So
have you ever had any challenge wherein you say, you know what, I have to prioritize one or the other? And how did
all
you
the
kind of
time.
manage that?
Yeah, all the time. And for me, because I'm not a business major, and even in economics, my university focuses more on theoretical economics, not necessarily like financial. And so a lot of my professors have no idea what a case competition is. I'm pretty sure half of them think it's fake. They think I'm just going somewhere for a week. So there have definitely been times where it's been hard to balance, especially because some of those professors don't understand, like, I don't have time to do, an essay and turn it in the middle of a case competition week. And often in those moments, I do prioritize school because that's the thing that I need to kind of get towards that next step. And case competitions are something that help build me personally, but I hate having to drop the ball on any of them. I read a quote a while ago and it helps me like prioritize things. It's, you are juggling glass balls and plastic balls. It sucks to drop any of them, but the key is knowing which ones are glass and which ones are plastic, so you know which ones will break and which will bounce. For me, case competitions will bounce.
I love that. That's actually
Yeah.
a great quote. Quote. A great quote. Not a quote. So, what are there other competitions that you'll be competing with and going to?
I don't believe so. At least for my undergraduate career, I don't think so. This year, I actually have done 3 just in the past, probably 6 months. I went to LASIK, which is the Lazaridis International Case Conference in Waterloo. I went to the Rotterdam Carleton International Case Competition in the Netherlands in November, which was lovely. And me and my team won that one, which was a really great feeling. Yeah. And then JMUCC, I think, was saved best for last. At least on a personal note, best speaker is something I've been really working towards. I am not actually that comfortable presenting in front of large groups. And so it was something me and my professor, Marie France, have been working on. So it was really nice to end on a good note.
So you have that technique that I actually admire, because you're the only one I've seen who actually would, before you start, you take a breath. And how did you learn that? Because I think that's very valuable for a lot of people who may be introverted but need to actually do this as part of their job or whatever.
No, yes, 100%. I am a very big psychology nerd. I think it's because the kind of economics I study, I focus on behavioral economics, which is like intersection of economics and psychology. And so often my professors will send me like random articles about psychological things and like how to improve performance or like how to, make daily life easier, because I am naturally much more introverted. But I read an article one time that said breathing out, like part of meditation and breathing is when you breathe out longer than you breathe in, it physically forces your body to calm down. And so before case competitions, I realized I can use that to my advantage. That way, before I start speaking, I'm able to, and all of a sudden, even though maybe my brain is still racing, my body feels much more prepared to start that flow of speech. And it sets me up on the right foot, that way I'm not tripping over my words immediately, only that starts about halfway through.
I didn't see it. So
I felt like it. I definitely, I hear the fluidity in my own words and I'm like, ooh, that could have been better. And it's a constant learning effort.
But we also are the worst critics.
Always.
So what would your kind of words of wisdom for somebody who's starting to do this journey themselves and they want to do competition at the international level where you are, what would you give them as kind of wisdom?
I would say don't compromise on being yourself. I think a lot of people, especially people who are maybe interested in things outside of business, I know for me personally, some of the things that I'm most interested in are arts and culture and community. And it feels like you have to choose kind of a businessy focus or kind of this life more alternative focus. And I think one of the biggest strengths that me and all of the teams I've competed with, because I've competed in a different team every case competition. It's that we're all so different and we have all these different experiences and interests and knowledge, and being able to bring that to the table and feel confident about what you bring is the most important. You can teach presentation skills, you can teach, how to analyze a case or how to solve for a certain mathematical thing, but you can't bring experiences, you can't bring teamwork, you can't teach all of these things. So you have to be comfortable bringing that yourself.
Love that. And that's actually high points as well for a lot of the competition rubrics, because it's something that shows and it's a gut feeling for a lot of judges to know, much like when we're hiring people, we have that experience of, they work really well and they'll be a good fit. So that's wonderful. So what's next for Skyler? What are we doing? What are you doing? Not me. I'm just observing.
Sometimes I also feel like I'm just observing. I actually recently made the decision that I'm going to go to graduate school.
Yay!
I'm very exciting, very nerve-wracking, but very exciting. So I'm going to be going to Bocconi University in Milan, studying economics and management of arts, culture, media, and entertainment.
I love that intersectionality. How are your family handling all of this lovely pressures that you kind of put in yourself?
It's very funny because when I was younger, I felt like my parents definitely pushed me very academically. I've always been very academically focused, and they've been good about pushing me towards things like that. And then as I got into college, all of a sudden it was the opposite way around, where they're like, as long as you graduate, we're happy. They're like, as long as you get a degree, we're happy. I was like, whoa, and I think my parents were very surprised I wanted to go to graduate school. And honestly, if you had told me 4 years ago, I probably also would have been very surprised.
Yeah.
But they're excited because I think I'm finally finding a direction that I'm interested in and kind of where I'm really passionate. And I still don't know exactly what I'm going to do with my degree, but I have like a better understanding.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a great day. See you later.
You as well. Bye.
Bye.